International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approaches in Social Sciences, Islamic and Technology, Malaysia. Greetings of love and gratitude from the Philippines and Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology. My co-researchers, Rowell Agliones Diaz, MBA, Accounting Faculty, Clarizza Lustre de Leon, MBA, Finance Faculty, Edgelly Galvez Vitug, MBA, Human Resource Faculty, and yours truly, Lester Linsangan, the Coordinator of Office of Student Organizations, Activities, and Development, are deeply pleased to present to you our research study entitled Exploration of Financial Management Operation of Political and Non-Political Student Organizations, a Basis for Proposed Policy Development. A strong and transparent financial transaction is an important factor in organizational triumph and sustainability. In support of this view, the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology emphasized this in its revised student handbook that can be found on page 96, Rules 1 to 5. In fact, one of the university's core values is transparency, and its significance has been proven on the study of Ratim Dadi and Olin Rewa 2019, where they found out that the organization financial information in particular is important for public accessibility and scrutiny. Today's role in teaching core values is essential to ensure the smooth working of day-to-day mechanism, most specifically to student organizations, and as the voice of their fellow students, and most importantly, as they prepare themselves to become president, budget officers, accountants, cash custodian, and the like, they must know the importance of transparency. Needless to say, this encouraged the researchers to conduct this study. So, whatever issues, problems, and concerns about strong and transparent financial information, it may be solved and eliminated immediately. It may be avoided to happen again, and it may guide organizations to improve their financial operations through the proposed training and manual of operations for the internal control system.
For the methodology, this study used the descriptive research method. It evaluated the 57 respondents from NEUST San Isidro campus, which included 48 student leaders and 9 advisors of the political and non-political student organizations. It utilized a modified questionnaire in gathering the data needed. The questionnaire has 3 parts. The first part was about a student's profile, organization type, legality of operation, and function. The second part called for a response on the organization's financial activities, specifically budgeting, cash receipt, cash disbursement, and record keeping or bookkeeping. And the last part of the questionnaire tackled the problems encountered by students' organizations about financial management. The quota sampling technique was used in this study. The respondents were selected since they provide first-hand knowledge of how the student organization was being managed financially. Using this, the researchers have retrieved 57 questionnaires. Gathered data from the instrument were tallied and analyzed. The statistical tools used were weighted mean, frequency, and percentage distribution. Lastly, the financial practices or activities of the student organization and the problems encountered in terms of financial management were classified using the Likert scale and was interpreted as shown in the next slide.
For the results and discussion, most of the respondents are from non-political student organizations, primarily academic-related student organizations. Out of 57 respondents, 42% were represented by 2 political student officers, 6 from previous and 6 from current CMBT Confederation, and 4 from current and 4 from previous campus student council officers. and 4 advisors of Campus Student Council, and 42% were from the department-based organization. 11% represent the Young Marketing Association, and another 11% from the Society of Young Business Executives and Entrepreneurs, and 2 from other non-political organizations. All organizations have existing constitution and bylaws duly approved by the members. On the other hand, one of the organizations was still retrieving their filed constitution and bylaws since the previous file could no longer be found. Almost all the organizations choose their officers by means of election, except for the YMA, or the Young Marketing Associations, and the Society of Young Business Executives and Entrepreneurs, in which the advisors can appoint officers due to lack of planning and time to hold meetings. Furthermore, the majority of the organizations were not registered with the National Confederation and or association. The previous officers, most of all organizations, have almost resulted with the above present findings in the organization's officers. The same with the present and previous officers' results, where the approval of bylaws was not considered important for the advisors, but it will serve as a requirement only for renewal. For the awareness and designation of functions of officers and advisors in terms of internal financial control system, based on the interview, majority of the organizations require the signatures of 2 officers and the advisor. This means that 3 signatures were required to complete a particular organization's transaction. According to the Brown University Student Activities Office, this scheme will minimize the risk that funds would be used for personal reasons, thus ensuring that the organization's costs are of a fair and essential nature to support the organization's mission. Moreover, the results also showed that organizations have no bank accounts yet. The budget proposal preparation was often done by the student organizations. A budget is an invaluable tool that helps to plan, to spend, and allocate resources. Budget preparation and control will help the company or the organization recognize unnecessary spending, respond rapidly to the changes in the financial situation, and achieve the financial objectives. For the remittances by the collection represented by the class to the treasurer were done every day, but not in practice. This practice will keep the records updated as well as prevent the risk of loss or theft. In the case of other sections, their collections was not remitted to the Confederation's treasurers. However, some organizations did not maintain a small cash fund intended to cover expenditures to prevent regular withdrawals from the account. The custodian of the petty cash fund has the authority to make payments from the fund that conforms to the prescribed management policies as per KIMET 2019. Sometimes, disbursement is not supported by the student leader's resolution showing that it was agreed among the organization's officers. The canvas of supplies and other tangible assets is not common among the organizations and policy on cash advances and liquidation. Besides, the cash disbursement voucher or the CDVs are not pre-numbered, and the policy on the cash shortage or overage is not defined. As far as record keeping is concerned, financial statements will always comply with the organizations at least once every semester based on their cash register and other related reporting documents. Recording day-to-day transactions and operations of the student organization is important in achieving proper internal control system. For the problems encountered by the officers and advisors in terms of financial internal control system, almost every time The political and non-political student organizations do not have an internal control management system framework and a manual as a basis for handling their funds using financial system. The lack of turnover of financial records from the previous group of officers was another issue for the organization's face. Too often, the organization leaders commit themselves to effectively leading their group for the academic school year and, at the end of their term, leave. When this occurs, not all information on the lessons learned in the previous year is passed to a new officers, thereby slowing down their progress. Non-functioning officers were among the challenges the organizations had faced, thereby requiring officers to step into another shoes.
For the conclusion and recommendation, as far as accounting activities are concerned, the organization typically carry out their work daily. However, the lack of a specific manual and expertise in the accounting and internal control system had resulted in an organization with no clear direction of duties and responsibilities. Thus, this resulted in lack of distribution of labor. In addition, most of the organization whose funds have not yet been deposited in a bank or other financial institution, and others are in the hands of individuals and officials. However, some variations should be stressed for a stronger financial management system, such as creating a revolving fund and comparing real and budgetary expenditure. Organizational disbursement procedures are not yet in place. In this conclusion, the researchers recommended holding annual training for the leaders program to manage its finances. In the same vein, a group of experts in this field may draft a manual of operation and financial and internal control systems for the political and non-political organizations of the NEUST San Isidro campus. The officers and advisors of different organizations, together with the Office of the Student Organizations, Activities and Development, and the Office of the Student Affairs, must be responsible offices for submitting the well-prepared and audited financial statements of the organization. The audited financial statements should be posted on the organization's transparency board every after the event is conducted and facilitated by the organization. And these are the references that we used in this study. And that concludes our presentation. Once again, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. May our omnipotent God richly bless you and this institution.